Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back. So, Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer, it's finally up on Master Duel. So let's take a look. This is the current decklist that I'm running. This is pure Swordsoul, right? It's much more different. It's different compared to the build that I was using a couple of moments ago. The video went up like an hour or two ago. We'll leave a link somewhere here on screen. So that was more like the 10E based version of the deck, where I guess the ceiling of that particular deck is much higher compared to this deck. As in, it can do more plays. It's much more powerful going second because of the full 10E package. Then again, you're main decking a bit more bricks, cards you really don't want to draw into, while this deck, pure Swordsoul with DPE, the deck's much more consistent, and for whatever reason I'm not sure if you're able to switch that in Master Duel, but I'm of course the upper one here. So playing Swordsoul against Eldritch. So I start off really good. I'm a huge fan of Pot of Prosperity here in the deck, but keep in mind you can't use Moye's draw here because of Prosperity. So that's the downside of that, but it's fine though. Sotaya, has that Foolish Burial effect, important, the Chainlinks, Yugioh, I believe, the level 8 Synchro, Chainlink 1, and then here in this case the Taya Chainlink 2. Foolish Burial, Fijuda, so there's a small 10E package here in the deck still, just in case if you're going second, because again, Fijuda can banish itself from the graveyard to bounce back a card from your opponent. That's cool against Floodgates, against Skill Drain, like here in this particular matchup. And here, this was literally the first duel, and feels so delicious, right? Hard drawing that Fusion Destiny so I can get up Phoenix Enforcer. Phoenix Enforcer, it's like a Scrap Dragon. Once per turn you can pop one of your own cards and a card from your opponent. It doesn't need to be face up, so it's that strong. So it's basically a 1-for-1 trade-off, plus, that's not all, it just special summons itself during the next standby phase back to your side of the field. Free advantage. Plus, and the more common engine to put up your Phoenix Enforcer is both Celestial and Dasher. So here, what is it? I think during the end phase, main phase, end phase, I pop one of my opponent's back row cards, hit Skill Drain. That was important. So Phoenix Enforcer again returns to the field. The one of Conquistador, because this is post-ban list, hits, at least is activated. I do up to Chain Enforcer here, eventually targeting the Eldritch. The Golden Lord, but I get hit with Skill Drain, and that of course forces out the Baron the Fleur Negate, and another Floodgate has been flipped face up, and that's a rivalry, but I think that's fine, because both Baron and Phoenix Enforcer are both Warrior, so that's already cool. And the Yugioh I'm not really missing. The Monster Negation, again, that's not really too great here in this particular matchup. So Maxi 1-for-1, and as you know, still, well, I'm going to pop Rivalry, so because of Baroness, but Baroness Baron cannot negate, and here is why this engine, this Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer package is so broken, because during your next turn you can just banish your Celestial from the graveyard with Dasher to get a Pot of Greed. 2 free draws, and that's so devastating. Plus, and one of the reasons why this, at least Swordsoul in general, is super anti True Draco as well, actually. I mean, they have Baxia. Baxia bounces back up to 2 cards from your opponent back to the deck. Fantastic against True Draco and Eldritch, for example. There's Fijuda that can bounce back that 1 Skill Drain, that they always have Skill Drain, so Fijuda can take care of that, right? Banish itself from the graveyard to bounce back the Skill Drain. Again, fantastic. There's Baroness for the Omni-Negation plus Tag Out, again, very strong. So this deck does just so much, and there is one surprise here There's one huge MVP, especially in the Eldritch matchup, that makes this matchup quite easy. Unless, of course, your opponent goes first and opens the nuts, like Skill Drain, Solemns, whatever. Yeah, whatever, right. Anyway, so second duel. This time I'm going second. Yeah, indeed, should be going second. This is not really a strong start from Eldritch. Only setting 3 right, and I draw Ash Blossom, so that's fantastic for the potential Sanguine, and also have Fijuda for the potential bounce, right? If there is a Floodgate, if there is a Skill Drain. I go for Prosperity, and I have 2 options, either for Fusion Destiny or Moye, and eventually went for Moye, because one of the MVPs that I just talked about, you will see it in a couple of moments. So Fijuda is nice. special summons itself, link into the Link 1 Tenyi, Monk of the Tenyi, and then not Fusion Destiny but normal summon the Moye. Try to get its effect, to get a token, and the obvious Sanguine was there, so I'm definitely going to negate that. Let's see if there's a Floodgate or a Solemn Strike or whatever. Rivalry is flip phase up, that's fine. Both of these monsters are worm type, plus I still have Vishuda in the graveyard, so I can use Vishuda to bounce back the other set, which we could assume was not skill drain, but again, not taking any risks. And now, I believe, because I have no follow-up play if I'm not going for Xixiao, so Xixiao indeed should be hitting the board for the monster search, right? And that was a Moye, and I used Pot of Prosperity, so I can't draw, I can't chain block. That's fine though. Go for the level 6, and that's, you know, an instant level 10 Synchro. But again, Rivalry is there, so I can't go for Baron, but this one is super MVP. It's the card cannot be, well, it can be destroyed, but if it would be destroyed, you can just, what is it, I think, banish a Worm or Swordsoul from the graveyard, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, indeed. Plus, and that's the other part, and that's why this card, or at least this deck, is so strong, is, especially against Eldritch, as soon as a card is banished, doesn't really matter, off of Crossout, for example, Called by, Prosperity, Desires, Eldritch, banishing the cards from the graveyard, the list goes on. Then your level 10 Synchro activates, and he says that as soon as a card is banished, you can banish one card from your opponent's field and graveyard. Against Eldritch, every turn, right? Every turn. So I mean, it speaks for itself. This card just, if you know if you know that you're playing against Eldritch off of maybe a first turn Omega or something like that, just go for this one. I mean, banish Eldritch, banish stuff from their graveyard once per turn. It's so strong. So now we know there is the Infernity Barrier, or like, you know, Floodgate negation card set. So here I'm just going for the opportunity to making sure that I can use my level 10 Synchro without interruption. So use Taya, banish the spell, and now indeed the card was banished. Use the level 10 Synchro and I can chain block with the spell. So now lowering or increasing one monster on my side of the field one level, at least one worm type, I think. Doesn't really matter too much. But most importantly, I was able to chain block with the level 10 Synchro. And again, yeah, I mean, the rest is history, right? Banish two cards, so one from the field from my opponent and one from their graveyard. And good old Baksha hits the board so strong as well. Bounce back two cards a la Tiramisu from Madolches, right? So get rid of those as well. And now I can just freely attack for a game, even though the Pot of Prosperity was activated because, you know, half damage. So pure Tenyi is indeed really scary, and the fact that this card, or at least this deck, is so strong or stronger, even stronger with Destiny Hero, Phoenix and Forcer access, just makes the, you know, things much more scarier, if that makes sense, right? You know, the build definitely needs work. I mean, all suggestions are definitely welcome. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Lead him signing out. Peace.